So this is an article that has taken me several years to finally get around to writing. A colleague suggested it several years ago. She's a fellow Christian sex therapist who works a lot with women and female sexual dysfunctions. And knowing my writing style, how I like taking particulars and pointing to higher forms and ways of being, that she suggested that I write on vaginismus. And so, like, if I was to write a topic on erectile dysfunction, I would not just write about the physical or biological experience of ED. I would talk about how men might experience impotence or powerlessness throughout their life and relationships. And so, I may use a physical experience, that physical dysfunction, that particular dysfunction, as a pattern in which guys may experience powerlessness throughout their life and relationships. And for me, that higher order or that deeper way of being tends to connect with more men. Not every man may experience erectile dysfunction in a diagnostic clinical sense, but I think every man at some point in his life feels a sense of powerlessness or questioning, do I have what it takes? Can I show up and make a difference in this area? So again, this colleague, knowing my writing style, suggests that I take a similar approach with the topic of vaginismus. I struggled in part because vaginismus is a female condition, and so I wondered if my male audience would be able to resonate with that. But then thinking back all the way to Genesis, that God created male and female in His image, and so both men and women reflect aspects of divine God's divine glory. And so, while I tend to focus on men and how God is revealing divine wisdom Himself even through our very bodies, I think that's true for women as well. That we can learn about God through the body of a woman as well, and that's not exclusive. That women can just learn about God through their body, and men can only learn about God through their body. I think we can learn about God and this experience through each other's bodies as well. And so, sitting with that, can men learn something from this experience of vaginismus? Is that a particular dysfunction that can point to a higher order, a higher pattern that can be applicable for men as well? And I think it does. I think it points to our ability to open up and receive divine love, goodness, presence, grace. Where a lot of guys, we tend to focus on our doing. And so we can give ourselves, we can rise to the occasion. And so while some guys may struggle in rising to the occasion, for the most part, that fits with our masculine psyche, our masculine way of being in the world. That when you say rise to the occasion, we understand what that means. And while we may struggle to do that at times, we, in some sense, inherently know that that is required of us. On the opposite side, being able to receive may not come out as natural for us. And so some guys may swing to the opposite direction, that they are very active in giving themselves, but they don't know how to receive, whether that's from God, whether that's from their wife, whether that's even from their friends and children. They don't know how to receive love. And so there's a sense of experiencing vaginismus. Vaginismus clinically is a condition where the muscle of the vaginal wall involuntarily tightens, making penetration painful or impossible. This is not a willful resistance to penetration, but an automatic reaction, perhaps due to fear, trauma, or unresolved tension. I think this plays out in a spiritual plane with many men, that we're not intentionally resisting God's presence or even the love of others, but there's some conditioning, some perhaps trauma, hurt, pain in the past that keeps us closed off, that keeps us from receiving God's love. And so I wrote this article to encourage men that yes, there's a place for us to rise to the occasion and offer ourselves freely. There's also a place to learn how to open ourselves to receive God's love and grace and abundance. And we need both. There's a place to give and there's a place to receive. And so masculinity can learn from this experience of vaginismus of how do we open ourselves up to be penetrated by God's love, as it were. I know it's a weird way for many guys to think about it, but a healthy expression, a godly, full, mature expression of our masculinity requires both of these dimensions. That yes, we need to give ourselves, but we also need to know how to fully receive love. That if we're not able to receive, then we're not able to give. As Scripture says, we love because He first loved us. We need to be able to receive His love, to be able to bask in the sense of our identity as God's beloved in order to then show up and love others in the world. And so if we want a deeper intimacy with God and with others, yes, we must rise to the occasion and offer our strength. We also must be humble enough, gracious enough to be able to receive love as well.